Tonight, local cyclists are pushing for change after Vision San Antonio says deadly bicycle crashes doubled last year. Tonight, a petition online is demanding bike lanes with physical barriers on major roads like Broadway. Eyewitness News reporter Roxy Bustamante joins us live from there right now. And Roxy, it's not just cyclists who are using the bike lanes.
That's right, Deborah. People who are renting the new electric bikes and also the e-scooters that you see on every corner are also using those bike lanes. But in major intersections like here on Broadway and Jones, those lanes end right before the intersection, forcing these riders onto the busy street.
These are people that are trying just to get from point A to point B. Do they not deserve to get there in one piece?
Cyclists wheel to wheel with drivers on major roads like Broadway where bike lanes are cut short.
I've been thrown off my bike. I've been pushed off the road from my bike. I've been shot at.
Carlos Valdez bikes to and from work every day. He is just one of hundreds of people who have signed this petition with Bike San Antonio, hoping to put an end to the dangerous chaos.
Honestly, I think it's time for a change.
Bike San Antonio's goal to add protective bike lanes on Broadway between Hildebrand and Houston Street, also adding physical barriers to existing lanes throughout the city.
No, we don't have bike highways or dedicated bike paths like in other cities, so we have to use the streets. So the real question is, where do the bikes belong on that street?
Brian Martin says with more electric scooters and bikes on San Antonio's streets, the need for this change is greater and could make roads safer for everyone.
Time's over for putting bikes in the back burner. We need to have respect for each other on the road, and that goes along with cyclists too. And the scooter people, they need to respect the rules of the road as well.
Bike San Antonio is still working to get more signatures on that petition. You can find it on our website, kens5.com, under the links mentioned tab. Reporting live, Roxy Bustamante, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.